Hey YouTube, it's Casey. Hopefully this video works out. I'm trying something different. I'm recording it on a phone instead of a computer just because I haven't got a weird setup going on right now. Um, I wanted to make a quick video about some of the reasons I decided to start testosterone. General population's opinion seems to be that, you have to do this or that to be considered, transgender, or like trans enough, and that's kind of, it's a thing not only in the straight community, but it's in the queer community too, from what I've seen. And people think that, you have to, like, take hormones, or have, certain surgeries, or even, like, identify as, like, one of two binary genders, meaning either, you can be either male or you can be female, and they just see like a binary, and that's not true. There's like a whole spectrum of other genders out there that we won't get into right now. But the point of that is that none of that's true. You don't have to do anything to be transgender enough. That's not a real thing. And if anybody here has been told that, or if anybody hears that, then rest assured it's not true. People shouldn't be saying that. We don't need to be policing gender. People have enough issues as it is. That's ridiculous. So, you don't have to be on hormones or to be taking testosterone to be considered a transgender male, or somewhere along the trans masculine spectrum. So, for me personally, it took me like many, many years of debating to decide whether or not I wanted to start testosterone. And mostly that's because I'm a super indecisive person. I could research something forever and ever and ever and never make up my mind. Some of the things that I was thinking about when trying to make the decision is that I personally don't like to take medication. I don't like to take anything really. Like, it doesn't matter if it's like even like Tylenol or Advil or whatever that stuff is. Like, I never take it. Honestly, I've got some embarrassing stories about taking NyQuil just from having to take it once and, like, not understanding how it works and, like, falling asleep during classes, and people still make fun of me for it. But, so I don't like taking meds. I don't like messing with my body unless I know exactly what it's going to do. And one of the biggest things about being transgender is that, unfortunately, there's really no solid research done on it, particularly, on the male end of it, because it seems, I don't know why, it seems to be that transgender males are just kind of coming to light in open society within the past few years. So there's no studies done on the effects of hormones or testosterone on a natal female body, somebody who's born female at birth, and there needs to be research done on this. It's scientific community, get on your shit. This is ridiculous. But, so, the reason I bring that up is because in addition with, me not liking medication, and I want to know exactly what's happening to my body, is what it comes down to. And taking testosterone, we don't know what's going on. Like, yeah, we know the voice is changing, you're gonna get hairier, you're gonna break out. That's starting to happen. That's awesome. But we don't know what's happening with our brain chemistry. There's things changing up here, and they could be permanent. And I have no idea what's happening. And that's the thing that worries me the most about doing this. But, so, and then some of the changes I'm more or less comfortable with. Like, I've had to, over time, become more or less comfortable with some of the changes that are happening, have happened, will be happening. Some changes from testosterone I was not looking forward to that other people are. And some of those changes are permanent, and before I started testosterone, I had to just come to terms with the fact that things are going to change, and that's the whole reason for taking it. And the things that I weren't crazy about changing, I had to become okay with before I could start doing this. But before we get to that, there are a couple other bullet points I wanted to get to. So, before starting testosterone, I was always kind of like more or less comfortable with myself and how I presented. Like, the way I've dressed has always been the same. Nothing really changed when I came out as transgender, except to ask people to start changing their pronouns. So I didn't change the way I dressed, the way I looked, the way I acted, anything like that. But I had to accept that there are things about myself that aren't going to change. I'm not going to get any taller. And I'm not going to be able to build a lot of muscle mass ever. Just, that's a genetic factor for me personally. Other guys will have more luck with that than I will. And so those are things I had to be comfortable with for myself. But the issue that I was coming up with after a while was that I was becoming less and less comfortable with how other people were perceiving me, as in everybody seeing me as a girl, and it was getting under my skin pretty bad. Because, there were all these different indicators, like my voice was pretty high, my face was female looking, whatever that means, looked super young, so people would either think that I was a girl, or they would think that I was like 12 years old, a 12-year-old boy. Neither one of those were things I was too pleased about. And because of some of my personal beliefs, like the way people were thinking about me and that bothering me was a bit hypocritical, but, things happen. There's always exceptions to the rules. So the way people were viewing me was starting to affect the way I was viewing myself, and then, I decided something had to change, and I realized I could go back and forth forever. Take testosterone, don't take testosterone. What am I going to do? And I realized that I could think about it forever and not do anything, but the thing is, not doing anything was making a decision in of itself. Not doing anything meant that something was happening. I was still continuing along the same path. So I decided to just go for it and do it and jump right in and start hormones. And I'm really fortunate to be living in an area where there's some pretty decent healthcare for transgender individuals, which I'm now thinking about staying in this area for as long as I can to reap the health benefits of that. And once I've gotten all the benefits from these transgender related health benefits, then maybe I'll move. But for the time being, this is where I am. So I started testosterone pretty quickly. Like, I made the decision, I went into the doctor twice, and then the next time I went in, I was giving myself injections. And I really didn't have any roadblocks. I was really fortunate with that. So it's now been 4 months and 4.5 months, 4 months and a week. I forgot to check that up before I started this video, but that's alright. So it's been a little while now that I've been on testosterone, and I don't know how long I'm going to end up taking it for. It's not something that I ever thought, I don't know how to word this. I never thought that I'd be on one single medication for my entire life, starting at such a young point in my life. Like, sure, when you're getting on later in years, you need different medications because your body gets old and frail and you need help with things, but I never thought that was something as a young person that I would have to deal with, taking the same medication over and over regularly for the entirety of my life. So I'm not sure that I will be doing that with testosterone. I'm going to wait until, I get some of the changes start happening that I've decided that I do want. Things like voice getting deeper, maybe facial hair. I never liked the idea of having facial hair. I really don't like facial hair on other people. However, I think it will help with the whole baby face complex I've got going on. If I've got, some indication that I'm not a prepubescent male. So I'll wait till some changes that I want have happened, and till I've kind of leveled out with the hormones and everything's going alright. And that could be a couple months, it could be a couple years, I don't know how long that's going to be. But when that happens, then I can start to reevaluate how long I want to keep doing hormones. And I also have to think about how I want to be taking hormones. There's a couple different options. I've mentioned before that right now I'm taking injections, but my insurance is, pretty decent. That I've got state insurance in a state where there's good trans health care, so I don't know, maybe later on down the line after I've been on taking shots for a little while, switch to like a topical gel, or they've got these waxy pellets that I've been learning about that you take. Well, it's like a minor surgery where they just insert them under your skin and they last for like 6 months or something like that. So I've got a couple different options to look into for testosterone, but that's way down the line after things even out a little bit in my life, hormonally wise. So those are some of the basic ideas I've had while trying to decide whether or not to take testosterone, and I made the decision to jump in it. And that may be a bit of a it's not a misnomer, because jumping in it is a phrase, but whatever. It's a little bit, it's not quite the right way to say it, because I've been thinking about this for like almost a decade now, so it's not a rash decision that I made, but it's a decision that I decided I just needed to do. But, nothing's set in stone, and I don't know what the future holds for me, but for now, I'm on hormones, I'm taking testosterone, and, we'll see where it takes me.